So it got to the point over the years that it got so heavy, now people have to check paperwork of who they standing by inside of the jail. It's a given thing. You got to show that paperwork. You got to come to the yard with that paperwork. If not, you're going to have a problem. That means you hiding something. And nobody want to be around no snitches and no rats.
Welcome back to the Locked In with Ian Bick podcast. On today's episode, we have the one and only Big Bootsie here to share his extraordinary life story, including the principles of the street he's learned along the way, the trouble and subsequent jail time he got into as a young adult, and how he was able to turn it all into an acting career. I want to give a big shout out to Unique Mecca Audio for connecting me to Big Bootsie. Unique was a former kingpin who came onto the show a few months back. Make sure you check out that episode if you haven't already. Him and Big Bootsie are not only friends, but grew up in that same time period together. Now, without further ado, sit back, relax, and get ready to lock in with Big Bootsie. Big Bootsie, welcome to Locked In, man. Pleasure to have you. Shout out to Unique Mecca Audio for connecting us. You know, when he calls and says he's got a guest, you can't say no to the man.
Yes, sir, man. Thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate it. And yeah, big shout out to my brother Unique, man. Big shouts out, man.
Yeah, awesome. How do you get the name Big Bootsie? What does that mean?
All right. Well, Bootsy comes from my grandfather. I was his firstborn grandson. And they say he used to carry me and take me everywhere, and he named me Bootsy. It's not a street name. So, when I meet people, I let them know that it's not a street name. It's a name given name for my grandfather. So as I was growing up, I started doing a lot of things as far as making some money and doing a lot of parties, so I earned the name Big in front of Bootsy because I'm known to do big things.
Okay, so it's not a street name. That's interesting. Yeah. I'm sure you definitely get that mixed up a lot, that people would think that it's a street name.
Yes, sir. Nah, okay. It's not a street name.
Unique's name is a street name, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know where he got it from, so I can't say that it's a street name. So somebody might have gave it to him from his family, you know?
Did you guys grow up together?
Well, we didn't grow up together. I met Unique in my teen years. I was a teenager, and I, used to see him flying by, ride by, and I knew a few guys that knew him, and I see him riding in different cars, and I'm like, yo, who is this new guy running around through Harlem like this? So I asked one of my homeboys, and they was like, his name Unique. I said, I need to meet him, man. And he was like, all right, come down the hill. And that's how me and him met. And, we never looked back after that. We was together all the time, man. So, yeah, he's one of my big brothers that I learned a lot from.
So you were with him when he was serving his prison sentence, like there for him?
Yes.
Yeah, mentally.
The whole 26 years. Well, I went in before him. I got locked up. So I was upstate New York, Kingston, and I left from Kingston, New York, and started going to Virginia. And when I was going to Virginia, I got caught up on the highway, me and a few guys, two other my co-defendants. We got pulled over on the highway, illegally searched. Long story short, I was facing 60 years, and I went and took it to trial. And as I'm in there, my bail was $1 million Unique, so I got in touch with him. I had him come to my mother's house and tell her, to let him know what was going on with me and, see if he could bail me out. He said, yeah, he was going to bail me out. No problem. Just sit back and wait. So I was sitting back waiting. No Unique. Sit back waiting. No Unique. Call my mother. He ain't called. She's like, no, baby, I ain't heard from him. I'm like, wow. So I'm like, damn, what's going on? I just said, this is where I'm going to be at for right now. So they was pulling people over. And before you pass and come across the Maryland line to go to Virginia, they'll pull you over, search your car. It was just a sting that they was doing. It wasn't even a sting. It was just illegal searching all the way, the whole procedure. They just illegal searching people. So anyway, another guy that I knew from New York came through and got caught. And me and him was talking, and he was like, yo, that's messed up. What happened to your boy Unique too, man? I said, what happened? He said, the feds jumped down on him crazy, locked him up. I'm like, no wonder he ain't come.
Oh, wow.
So he got locked up right after I did. So I did my time. I come home, and he was in there doing the life plus 26. And that's when I stepped in to do my due diligence for my brother and held him down the rest of the way till he came home to this day.
Wow. So was yours a Fed case or was it just
No, mine was just a regular case. They was just sitting on the side of the highway, and any car that go by, if you look like you black or Spanish, they pulling the car over and they searching it. And, I'm going to do a movie about it. It's called Route 13. And that was like one of the safest routes to going that way. So we was taking that way, and I guess the police caught on to it and came up with how to pull people over and search their cars. So one of the cops actually got killed. They pulled over a guy that was on the run. He killed him, jumped out, ran. Another guy was a lawyer. They wrote him his ticket, and then they asked him, can he search? And he said, no, you gave me my ticket. I'm leaving. He walked off to go to his car, and they bum rushed him and told him, we searching anyway, put the cuffs on him. They didn't know he was a lawyer. So they was just doing the legal thing in Salisbury, Maryland.
Mm-hmm. So the attorneys couldn't throw that out at all because it was race-based?
Back then, I paid a lawyer. Her name is Sheila Brooks, and never heard from her. She just robbed me for my money. Never heard of her. She just disappeared. Then I got another lawyer, and his name was David Moore, which was supposed to be a good lawyer. I was new in that area, so I didn't know anybody in that area, but I was inside of the jail. I was hearing who was good lawyers. So, yeah, I hired a good lawyer, but they didn't fight it on illegal search. For one, they trick you to sign that paper for the actual search. And the guy that was driving, the car wasn't even his name. So if you go by the law, he didn't have permission to say that they could search the car, but they saying he could because he was in control of the vehicle. So I don't know. So we got offered time and we didn't take it. We went to trial. We blew trial. I took a judge trial because I would figure that the judge would actually uphold the law, being that it was a legal search. Nobody claimed nothing. But they gave us all time anyway. So the judge knew he was finding us guilty when we were sitting in there. My mother said it. She came to the trial and everything. She just said that judge knew he was finding y'all guilty. All that was a waste of time.
That's risky business doing a judge trial.
Yeah, it is. It is. And we did that. And I did law library the whole time I was in there. I studied the law. I basically was learning law in there. I actually liked it. If I went to school, I probably could have been a lawyer or something. So, but it wasn't enough to help us. And I didn't have enough money at the time neither because my money done ran out. When you get locked up, people that owe you money, they disappear on you. And that's what happened.
How old were you when you got locked up for that?
I want to say 22.
And Unique got locked up in his 20s too?
Yeah, I want to say, yeah.
His 20s.
Yeah. And he did 26. So, yeah, it had to be like right after because he's a little older than I am. So, yeah, that's a fact.
How much time did they give you?
5. I got 5 years.
So you blew trial and they still only gave you 5 years?
They gave us 5 years.
It could have been a lot worse.
Yes.
Not that it wasn't bad to begin with, but it could have been.
It could have been a lot worse. And I thank God for that. You got a praying mother and father, man. That helps as well,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you grew up in Harlem your whole life?
Yes.
Okay. What was that like?
Man, I want to say it was the year of the golden years, man. We had a great time, but it was an era where if you wasn't thorough, you would get ate up and swallowed up out there. But overall, we had good times. It was the era of a lot of money being made, a lot of people, even little young boys was making money. At that time, our mental was way ahead of our time. When you're 15 and 16 riding around in $100,000 cars and things of that nature, it's unbelievable because if you see the average 15 and 16-year-old now, you wouldn't believe that they would be riding that unless they went to the league or something early. So that's what we was doing early. So it was good times and then it was bad times. But, like me and my friend was talking last night, in our area where I live from, 146 St. Nicholas, we grew up wanting to get money, have fun, play basketball, messing with the ladies, and that's it. We ain't got time for no trouble or none of that stuff. And that's what we was, that's how we rolled. That's what we abide by, that type of stuff. We ain't look for no trouble, but it was easy out there. If you wasn't, like we said, if you wasn't thorough, then them green goblins gonna come and try to come and dig in your pockets.
Were your parents influential on keeping yourself out of trouble?
Very big. My moms and pops didn't really play that. Like when the lights is about to get dark at a young age, it's time for me and my brother to come upstairs. Our friends, some of them got to stay out late and stuff like that, but we used to sneak out the house when we wanted to go to the clubs to keep up with the Joneses, me and my middle brother. We used to sneak out the house and we used to leave the door open. Now when I think about that, it's like, man, that's dangerous to do that and leave your parents in there asleep. You're sneaking outside just to go have some fun. Anybody could have walked in the house and did something to them. Mm-hmm. So they didn't play that. And, a lot of butt whoopings when you do wrong in school and all that. But we used to sneak and do things behind their back. She was never knowing what we was doing outside. But she'll find stuff in the house, around the house if mother's intuition. So, yeah, she didn't play about us being out there in the mean streets like that. And it kind of saved us because me catching my time at a late age, a lot of my friends, either some of them got killed 15, 16, or some of them been in and out of jail early because they got to do whatever they wanted to do, and some of them was on drugs real bad. So that kind of saved, me and my brother with them being how they was on a strict level. Yep.
Were you a hustler early on? Did you like making money, doing things yourself, or were you like a regular job type of person?
No, well, my mother used to work at a bank, chemical bank, and then she moved to Indezelware to sell money. She used to take us to work with her sometime, and I used to see what she do. So I guess in my bloodline, I wanted to make some money. So, it started early at 10 years old, me trying to think of ways to make some money. I'm outside hanging out. And, I tell this story all the time. And my friend AZ, which from the Paid in Full movie, he was in the cleaners. And if you ever seen the movie Inside of the Cleaners working, he really did that in real life. And, he was a guy that used to sit on the stoop, quiet, laid back. If you don't see him on the stoop, laid back, he was at work. So I used to hang around him in the cleaners. And I used to tell him, man, I want to make some money. Excuse me. So he was delivering the clothes himself. So he was such a good guy. He used to look out for me. He'll let me deliver the clothes and pay me money to deliver the clothes. So I started doing that type of situation with him until I started noticing other things after that.
Mm-hmm. Now, weren't you in Paid in Full too?
Yes, indeed.
Okay,
yes,
and
indeed.
Was that after prison or before prison?
That was after prison.
That was after. Okay, so we'll get to that later on about your acting career.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So do you think that if you were hanging around different individuals, your life could have maybe ended up like Unique's, going down that path?
Far as no, well, meaning catching 26 to life or something like that?
Yeah, like getting caught up in like a kingpin statue or anything like that?
Well, I definitely was already in that world because back then I used to have my own team hustling. That's how I met Unique. Mm-hmm. So I was working with AZ on the streets. I want to begin because, when I got older, AZ would never let me touch no drugs or nothing. So as I got older, once I got into like high school, middle school, rather, I used to do little things for him. And then he would let me actually work at his store. It was called a jukebox. So I was inside the store. I still wasn't selling drugs. I'd probably go in and, grab some of the work, put the work in the games, take the money, grab the work, take it back next door, put the money in the jukebox and wait for him to come and get the money. So as I got older, I started selling my own drugs. And after I started selling my own drugs, I started saving my money, and then I actually got my own team and gave them something to do. So I started creating my own lane, my own moves, my own money, AZ. And I'm going through the story kind of fast because, as we got older, AZ left the game alone. Unfortunately, he got shot up and almost lost his life in the game, which everybody know about that. So I started graduating to big boy level. I had 2 and 3 spots of my own with my crew on 146 St. Nicholas, 142nd between Broadway and Hamilton, and I wanted to go to the next level. So when I seen this guy riding by, which was unique in these cars, I knew what it was about. I just needed to know how to get in. And my homeboy took me to meet with him. When I went and met with him, I told him what I could do, and he trusted me. He gave me something with no money down. I leave, go, come right back, and he was like, "Oh, okay, you about your business. You about your business." And I started turning up, and me and him hung out all the time. Clubs, riding motorcycles, dirt bikes. He'd go buy dirt bikes, buy you a brand new dirt bike. That's what kind of guy he was. And we used to wake up. He'd come early in the morning, waking me up to ride the 4-wheelers and everything. But yeah, I've been in the mean streets making my own moves for a long time. So I could have, to answer your question, I could have got caught up in that world catching time like Unique did very easily. Because we was doing the same thing. I just wasn't on a Unique level, but I was on that level that could land you a lot of time.
Did you want to be on that Unique level? Did you have aspirations?
Everybody did. Yes, everybody wanted to be on that level. That was the goal of being out there in the streets.
What was it about? The money, or was it the power, or was it a mixture of both?
It was a mixture of everything, man. When you get money, you feel good. All the women want you, and mainly us men, we do a lot of them things to impress women, and stunt on your boys a little bit. But overall, it's all about the women. And then when you're getting that kind of money and it's coming fast, you want to go to the next level. And that's what it's all about, elevation. And if you're in it to be playing around, you're in it for the wrong reason. There's no lowballing anything, because when they come, they coming.
Yeah.
But we don't think about them coming, and especially at that time, people, wasn't used to the police coming like that. Back in the 80s, it was kind of easy to sell drugs. The police wasn't on to you like that until they started learning the game, and then they started running up in everybody's spots that had, little crack houses and stuff like that. But overall,
Unique was saying that as long as you paid your taxes and you didn't kill anyone, they would leave you alone and let you hustle.
That's a fact.
Because that filled the economy back then.
Yeah, that's a fact. And the more you do all the killings, the more attention you're bringing to yourself. Now they know you are a problem. So if they hear about you and your crew being, this terrorizers out there, they know they got to get rid of you and pull you in and take you off them streets, man. But overall, yeah, you pay them taxes and you stay under the radar, they'll let you float for a little while. It's a few guys that's been out there that's had a long track record that I still see to this day that's like big brothers to me that never even went through it, but they was big dogs on a Unique level, I can say. And they never went through it. Knock on wood, thank God. And now they are successful businessmen.
How do you compare the drug game back then to what you see the drug game now is, with gangs and shootings and silly stuff? Was that happening back then?
Nah, not at all. And not to say that it was good, but majority of the time, if people got killed back then, they was getting killed because somebody owed some money. Somebody stole some money. Or people, trying to rob you. They doing that now anyway, but back then, everybody was really making real money. Now, you can't really make no money like that no more because the snitch game is on this all-time high. It's you wonder what make people hustle knowing that they're gonna tell. That's why you can't sell drugs no more. It's a wrap for that. So back then, nobody didn't play nothing about no snitching. You can't come hang around if you went and told on somebody. And I don't even really remember too many people that we used to say, oh, so-and-so is home. He told. We never even really had those conversations back then. Now, somebody go to jail, you want to check their resume ASAP. So it's totally different. The stuff with the, as far as the guys, they call it moving on demon time that these young boys is doing. It's like they wake up knowing they either gonna kill or be killed. And, that's sad that that's even happening, because the mind is a terrible thing to waste. If we was thinking what we know now back then, we would all be powerful really right now ourselves. And I explain it a lot, like how guys from New York used to go to Washington, D.C., and make money down there and end up either getting killed or killing somebody down there, going to jail. And, at that point in time, D.C. and New York was, I want to say not getting along, but you had some D.C. and New York guys that was cool. Unique is one of them. He got so many guys that love him down there. When he had me with him down there, I thought he lived down there, which he basically did, and I didn't even know it. And me and him was together all the time. But, when I talk with the D.C. guys, I tell them, man, if we would have stuck together back then when all that money was coming, what type of stuff we could have opened up and built, and really some powerful things to this day, buildings and TV shows, and, we could have did a lot of powerful stuff. And nobody's thinking like that now. These young boys, we try to teach them. That's what Unique Podcast is about. That's what my podcast is about. And this is what I like about your podcast, because you let people tell their story, because it's needed to be told so they could understand why we say don't do that. You shouldn't do that, because they're only going to believe the people that actually went through it.
Yeah. Lived experience.
Exactly. They somebody else, they're going to say, I don't want to. What I'm listening to him for? What I'm listening to her for? They don't know what they talking about. So that's what we try to preach to the young boys, man, and to the young girls as well. That demon time and demon life and all that killing just because you don't like a person is crazy. And that can go on and on. The internet got this world messed up because the kids don't have to go to the mall and they don't have to be outside to get into a beef no more. We used to have to either see you at a club, or you might bump me at a club or at the basketball court and there's a beef. Now they can just be at home on the internet beefing with each other on Instagram. Or why you like my girl picture? When I see you, it's on. And that's why you probably hear about shootings at malls with these young guys, because now they got to own up to what they said on the internet. As soon as they see you, they shooting in malls and hitting innocent people and a whole bunch of ignorant stuff.
Yeah, people were way calm, cooler, and collected back in that era than they are today. And it's a lot of it's these young guys that are getting guns and in the gangs and rolling around like the MS-13s and all of this.
Yes.
It's nuts out there.
It's nuts, man. It's nuts, and it's very dangerous. And, it'd be sad when they shoot at each other and then hit an innocent young child. That's not cool, you know what I'm saying? And back then, when killings was going on, in our era, they do walk-ups. Ain't no shooting from across the street. We not riding by shooting, none of that. Back then, we walking up and give it to the person who we had a problem with. So it wasn't no innocent people getting shot like that back then. Not saying it never happened. Anything was possible, but the majority of the time, that's how it goes when somebody was shooting and killing back then. There's no shooting from afar and all that. That's not good, and it's not fair to other people. If you want to be a gangster, be a gangster. They always say real thugs is gentlemen, and real gangsters are gentlemen, meaning because they do everything accordingly. They don't just do it and act off of impulse. You know what I'm saying? So now these young guys are just acting off impulse and think that that's cool. That's not cool at all.
What were some of the principles in the street life back then that you guys kind of abided by and followed?
Number one is never snitch. Do your time. That's it. Because it's not fair to take somebody away from their family just so you could be back on the street and still back doing ignorant stuff. That's number one. Number two is you don't hurt nobody when you see them with their mother or their girl or whatever. You let it slide, give it a pass. That's another one. If you're somewhere fighting, everybody better be fighting. Don't come back talking about you tripped in your hands, then no scratches on your knuckles or nothing. That's not good. Even if you was in a gunfight, don't come back with bullets in your gun. And our guns are empty and yours is not. Those are principles and a whole bunch of other principles, man. Let me think of a few other good ones that we don't talk about your friend behind your friend back. Don't let nobody talk about your friend behind your friend back. Don't. That's number one. Like, Unique is one of them. And I always tell people, if somebody was to say something about me, let me call him for you. That's how we do it. I don't want to hear you talk about my boy to me, because don't look for me to say nothing bad back about him, even if I'm mad at him. Number two, and another thing, don't try and sex your homeboy's wife. Don't do that.
Off limits.
That's a no. That's a violation. Your girl could get naked in front of me. I don't care. I'm not touching that. I'm not doing that. And I'm gonna let my bro know. That's a fact. Cause that's somebody he love and care about. So if I do that, that'll hurt. I don't care how tough a man is. A woman is all of our weakness if we love them. So that's a no. I would never do that if you my brother. You somebody I say I love and I rock with you. That's a no. And don't touch nobody's money. Don't never play with nobody's money. That's another big one. Don't play with nobody's money. If you owe some money, at least tell them what's going on, or try and fix it. If it's still gonna break your pocket, still pay it, and try to get something else. And you get back and get yourself back. Don't take their money. So that's another big principle.
Back then, did you ever think that there would be this world where guys could literally commit murder, snitch, and get out and start talking about it on podcasts?
Yeah, not at all. I've never seen this far, man. Yeah. Never. And it's crazy because, once you do your time, you served your time. They can't say nothing about it. You could talk about everything you've done. And I never saw this coming. Podcast. I've had a podcast set up, and podcast wasn't even popular back then, except for, mostly people you probably just see on TV, but it used to come in a box, just the mic and I forgot what else, some type of little board came with it.
There was no video, it was just audio.
It was just audio, yep. I had one of those back then, and I was going to try to utilize it, but I just could never get into it. And now I look back years later, it's podcasts everywhere, but video and audio, everywhere.
Yeah, it's wild. And I mean, that's something Vlad does a good job with getting all those stories of like the rappers and like the mobsters and those guys out there. Was there a big mob presence in Harlem back then at all, or no?
No, I didn't. We never really, no mob never really came up.
Okay.
When we was growing up, I hear stories of the Nicky Barnes and the Frank Lucas guys when they was supposed to been dealing with the mob back then. So maybe they probably they was the only ones that I know of. We never had none of that preference. It was just too many young boys and dealing with the Spanish guys at that time.
When you were in high school, did you have dreams or aspirations of wanting to become something like outside of the life?
Yeah, basketball. That was my game. I played basketball, and I wanted to do that. And unfortunately, start touching some money, you let that go to the side and start playing hooky from school and things like that, and it just turns you to a whole nother animal. But I was actually good at school, got good grades. I actually played in the band in school. I did gymnastics. I did a few things. But yeah, basketball was my main thing I wanted to do.
Do you ever think life would have been different for you had you stayed with school, focused on basketball, and never even dabbled into the life at all?
Yeah, definitely. Because, the things that I know now, if I would apply myself back then, like once again, it would have took me to another height because I know how to, I know how to market. I'm good at marketing. So even if I did play basketball, I probably would have took some money and opened up another business. I've had 3 clubs in Durham, North Carolina. I had them for a while. My first one was with my partner from Brooklyn. Then one of my guys, his name was Big, God bless him, from Newark, with him. And one of them I had by myself. I called it the Rooftop. So I was good at that, and I bring the noise. A lot of successful parties, and it has its ups and downs in that world. But yeah, I've done it. I was a rapper myself. I used to be signed with a Uniques. It's called Uniques Distribution out of Hyde Park, New York. So I was rapping, and I started pushing my own label. All of the above, and so I learned how to market from actually spending money and losing money in the game, in that world. So, yeah, I know it would have changed my life because once I knew the drug game was over, when I stopped hustling, I changed my world around to the correct way of how it's supposed to be anyway.
Yeah. And I was listening to that interview you and Unique did, and you guys were talking. I had no idea about this with Unique, that you guys were throwing parties and hustling in that space too. And that's what I did.
Right.
You know,
Oh, wow.
30 years later, as a kid in high school, I'd throw these little teen parties, and
Right.
the same concept. You charge a cover fee, you're keeping the
Facts.
door money, and then,
Facts.
you know, whatever other hustles are going inside. But you guys had a good business going on.
Yeah, we did a lot of parties, man. But what happened, so with Unique part, we used to throw parties in the Bronx. So after a while, just going through the story, just Unique came and we met up. We all met up, and he just said he got this new club. I'm like, what? He just got a whole club. I'm like, get out of here. And he was like, yeah, man, we gonna do the grand opening. I'm taking everybody shopping and buying the whole crew. He probably bought about 20 linen suits, custom made.
Wow.
And we all fresh to death for the grand opening night for Club 2000. And that was one of the biggest clubs in New York, charging $200-300 to get in, sometime more than that. And you name a celebrity, they came there. You name them, they came there. And you know, that money that's different money when it's coming the correct way, fast like that. So yeah, we did our thing with the club thing and with the parties. And that's what made me, when I came home from jail, wanted to get back into doing party promotions and all that, because I know what kind of money it bring, and I know a lot of people, and I know how to actually market, you know, pulling in a nice large crowd. So yeah.
So you get those 5 years in a New York State prison. Is it like what we hear about today with the paperwork checking, all of that, like back then?
Well, mine was in Maryland.
Okay.
I was in Maryland, Salisbury, Maryland, and I did my time in Jessup, Maryland. Once I got my time, that's where you send you to the prison. But they're all the same, though, everywhere. Yes, they want to see your paperwork.
Even back then, all these years ago.
Well, back then, I can't say how the Fed pen was, but back then, I don't remember nobody asking for paperwork back then. I don't think so.
Do you think it was because of your reputation and who you associated with? Or?
Well, back then, snitching wasn't the end thing to do. So 9 times out of 10, a person in here back then, they do no snitching anyway. It wasn't not being done. Snitching was being done still, but it wasn't heavy. So it got to the point over the years that it got so heavy, now people have to check paperwork of who they standing by inside of the jail. It's a given thing. You got to show that paperwork. You got to come to the yard with that paperwork. If not, you're going to have a problem. That means you're hiding something. And nobody want to be around no snitches and no rats. And you got to think also, because, you know, guys is in there with doing real time with things that police didn't even get them for. Then you have these guys that might be a snitch up under you and start listening to your stories and hear something and then go back and call a lawyer and tell them, yo, get the feds on the phone. I got some information for them to get my time cut down. So that's why you got to check people's paperwork when they come in there. And it's just out of respect. If I go in there, you can see my paperwork straight up. That's a fact. So
back then, how were people getting word out on the street to see what someone was up to or anything like that? Was it just through the phone system?
Yeah, definitely phone or mail or visits. Okay. One thing about prison, they get the information first. And they get it out to the streets faster than anybody do. We don't know why, but that's how it happens. Yeah. That's a fact.
Because there was no cell phones, like burner phones. Nope. There was nothing back then.
Not at all. And I don't think you had to pay for phones back then. But you had to do collect calls, though. But overall, I think now inside of jail, they have to have money on your account, and then you are able to call out. I don't even think it's collect calls no more because there's no more house phones anymore.
Yeah. Now, back then, what was commissary like?
Cookies, donuts, soups. What else? It wasn't too much food where I was at. I really can't remember.
More just like snacks and whatnot.
Yeah, more like snacks.
It's
snack
crazy
stuff.
how commissary has evolved, like in the prison system.
Really?
They have everything. They got Doritos, they got sneakers, they got radios, they got
We had
everything.
sneakers. If you get, they'll give you a book and you can order from the book. So I remember the sneakers and underwear and shirts and stuff like that. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been so long, I can't remember everything in there. I guess when I got out of there, I said I don't want to remember no more.
Did you hustle at all in prison? Did you have a hustle?
I would buy a lot of snacks and open a store and sell the snacks.
So the concept of the store was a thing even back then. This is a lot. This is what, the 90s or
in the 1992.
Yeah. So that is crazy how these things that occur now, like when I was in prison in 2016, were happening all these years ago,
right.
and it just gets passed down to generations.
Yes. I was selling I'm selling commissary. I made sure I stock up, make sure I kept it stocked up, man. So yeah, that was my hustle. But I like to play dice. We was in there playing dice.
4, 5, 6.
Yeah,
CeeLo. That's what I played.
Yes, sir. CeeLo.
I love CeeLo, man.
Yes, sir. CeeLo and some cards. That's what helped the time go by, man.
Spades?
Spades, chess. Love when it was time to go play basketball, go get a good workout in, and dice, man. That's a fact.
Was there a lot of violence during the time in prison, or was everyone kind of just respectful?
Where I was at, there's a lot of violence. And then there was a prison right next door to us. The helicopter used to go there all the time.
Like the medical helicopter?
Yeah, all the time over there in Jessup. And Jessup was known for, it was called the Cut Annex. And they was known for nothing to play with there as well. So yeah, it was trouble in paradise over there.
What would you think was the craziest thing you saw personally while you were in prison?
The craziest thing I saw was stabbings and all that was
normal.
Normal, yeah.
Which is crazy.
Like, yeah, you're right. It was normal. It really wasn't nothing. The only crazy thing that I saw that I ain't like was a guy came from doing 20-something years and he was on his way home, so they brought him to our prison and he was only going to be there for another 2 months and he was about to go home, and there was a young guy in there, and in our dorm, the bathrooms wasn't working, and they used to leave our door open at night so we could use the bathroom. But normally it'd be closed, so the door was, they kept the door open at night. And so we used to notice the new guy come in. It was a young guy in there. The young guy was young, but he was kind of tall, and he used to have a young guy with him every day, walk in the yard, come back into the dorm. He's sitting on his bed with him, chilling. The young guy never was doing it. He used to be playing cards with us and stuff like that. And so we thinking he might know him from the streets. And long story short, one particular night, I fell asleep early. When I woke up, I hear a bunch of commotion. When they waited for everybody to lay down, I guess, and go to sleep, he took the young boy in the bathroom and took his manhood. And the young boy, I guess it hurt him real bad. He jumps up and run to the bubble, where the COs is at, slips and fall, and holding his behind, and the guy coming out holding his hand like, what happened? Trying to look like he ain't did nothing. That right there is just crazy to me, that you would just know you about to go home. If your preference is men, I have no problem with what somebody do. That's on them. But you're gonna do that to the young boy. You basically tricked him, manipulated him to take his man. That's one of the craziest thing that I saw in prison.
Yeah.
And which is sad.
Would you stand up for someone like that?
No, I can't. And there you gotta fight for yourself with doing something like that. I can't protect what another man got going on. If you're not gonna fight for yourself, I can't do that. I'm never gonna fight for nobody. Ain't gonna fight for themselves. But now, if they're a weak link and you trying to pick on them and take their stuff and bully them, then yeah, sometimes some people do stand up for those type of guys. Like, chill, give him a pass, bro. Like, he ain't even trying to fight you, man. He ain't even got that much stuff. Like, chill, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But if they trying to do sexual encounters, I would never get involved with none of that.
See, now they just let everyone run wild. Like when I was in prison, like the young DC guys or whatever, they just let them do whatever, extort, steal, this and that. There's no principle. They're going after the weakest link. There's no one to check them on it.
Rikers Island was like that. You better go in there thorough because nobody was checking nobody. Yeah. They taking them sneakers, even if they halfway look good, they'll clean them up. So, yeah, I get it.
Now, when you got out, why did you decide to not go back into the life and kind of double down and get to a new level?
Well, when I got out, I kind of did go to that next level. I did run back into that world, and I was on a level bigger than I ever was, and it wasn't on a unique level, but it was getting there. And actually, I was getting so much money, it just got scary. Like, you think somebody's watching you all the time, man. And, it just came a point in time when I said, I'm going to just fall back. I'm going to give doing the right thing a try. And that's when I opened these clubs up and started throwing parties and doing things that I knew that will get me the type of money that I like getting. So I was paying big artists to come through, and then I was rapping also at the time. So I'll pay artists to come through. I'll open up for them and probably let somebody else open up for them. I used to bring like the Lost Boys, Mr. Cheeks and them my boys. I used to bring Biz Markie down, God bless the dead, the DJ for me. I used to bring DJ Clue down on several occasions. And so, those type of parties, I would get at least 30 to 40,000 on a good night.
Wow.
Then I started elevating, and I had Jay-Z in Greensboro, North Carolina one time. He brought Beyonce with him that night, too. I think Kanye West was with him, too. But he came when they was on tour, so we got the after party. For that, we made probably about 70, 80 grand that night. I did Rick Ross. I had Rick Ross in Raleigh and teamed up with some people and did Jeezy. And, a few of us promoters would get together and team up and put some money together and collect that bag, So that's where I had left the streets alone because I was pushing my rap career and I seen that I could do something different. So I promoted these parties, and after I started promoting parties, some buildings came my way. Once I got my first club was downtown Durham with my boy's name P. We call him Master P. And him and his boy Mike had it. Mike got locked up for something I forgot, and the club was open, so he asked me to team up with him. I'm like, that's perfect. We got the club, and we was killing them ever since, man. And in club business at the time, in the urban world, if a new club open, they'll start trickling over there, and then you probably have to bring a celebrity there, and they'll come back there. But if they like the new club, then it's tug of warring. And it just got to a point where we let that club go, and I opened the club Rooftop, which was across the street, over a club called Executive Club. It was really two clubs, but they let me rent the top part out, so I opened that club up. So, I ain't really need the streets no more because I was doing the things that I like to do and making the type of money that I like to make on that level without having to look over my shoulder with police presence.
Yeah. The party promotion business is just as lucrative as the drug business if you do it right.
That's a fact.
I mean, when I was in high school, I'd make 10 grand one night, cash.
That's a fact.
There's not that many drug dealers that are doing that legally, in one haul.
That's a fact. In one day, that's a fact.
Imagine putting that hustler energy, like these low-time drug dealers now that are pushing small amounts of weight. If you put that energy that you're doing into some type of promotion and hustle and that mindset, you're good.
Exactly.
You're making money.
Exactly. And it's some bad times now. I've lost 30,000 at one time before. I did my boy McGruff party down at Club Speed in New York. I was one of the first to set Speed off, and I did McGruff party. But had everybody in there. All the Bad Boys staff was in there. I had Joe Claire. I had Kid Capri DJing. And the person that was at the door was thinking it was a free party because I let my boy handle it, and he didn't give this person the right directives of what this really is. We have a packed club, but the money was not made because they was letting people in like it was free. I'm like, yo, are you bugging?
Yeah, I've been there before, losing your bag on stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. You can lose a lot of money, too, on the flip side.
Yeah, that's a fact. And it happens. Then you can do some parties sometime in North Carolina. If it rained, people might not even come out. That's how they are in North Carolina. It's not like New York. They coming out rain, sleet, snow. It don't matter. Mm-hmm. North Carolina, you might. And if you do, and if you don't do the promotion right, you might lose money as well.
Yeah, Connecticut's kind of like that too. Whenever it rained or something, unless people previously bought tickets, then they'll show up. But if they're not, and you're just banking on door sales, if it's a rained out event, you're screwed.
Yeah, you're screwed. Money down the drain, man.
Yeah, we were always checking the weather, and we'd always get lucky during our promotions. But then as we got into the concert business, and you're selling tickets online, and that era came, you got a little more security. Still high risk, but you got more security.
Facts.
And if you were hoping to make a little bit extra at the door and it's pouring rain, no one's coming because it's so weird.
You're sitting around like, oh my God.
Yeah, but people will line out the door for Taylor Swift or any of these other people.
That's a fact. Right.
So now when someone goes to Google your name, a big thing that comes up in the search results is paid in full. Mm-hmm. How did that even come about and how'd that even happen?
As far as what, me getting into the movie?
Yeah, getting into the movie, why you were even interested in it and everything.
Well, my friend AZ, what I was talking about, he wrote the movie. Before I got locked up, he wrote it.
He wrote the movie?
Yeah, he wrote the movie.
Wow.
It was called Trapped. And the logo was like a cross with Jesus hanging over it. But, so I introduced him to my homegirl named Keisha. And I want to say Keisha, don't quote me on it. I think Keisha is the one that took him to meet with Damon Dash. And when he met with Damon Dash already know about the story of AZ and the Rich Porter era and what that movie holds is powerful story. So once Damon got it, he, I guess, sold it to the Harvey Weinstein guy, and they got a budget, I think, of $13 million for that movie. So once the movie was put into play, and I guess Dame did his due diligence, my best friend is Damon Dash, best friend at the time. I know Dame, but I didn't know him the way how me and Dame is close now. That's like my brother now, you know what I'm saying? Somebody I love. But back then, him and my best friend is best friends. They grew up doing things together. So he called him and told him, I got the movie. We about to start shooting. We going to Canada. And that's where it was shot, in Canada. Everybody thought it was shot in Harlem, but it was shot in Canada. So he called him, told him to come to Canada. So when he gets over to Canada, he noticing what's going on with Mekhi Phifer, Wood Harris, and, you know, and the people that they have to portray, because we grew up with the Rich Porters and the AZs and all them. So we know, you know, they swag, demeanor, and, you know, things of that nature. We know what was going on at the time, because I used to be, you know, the guy that ran with A, and my best friend was the guy that ran with Rich Porter. He was actually Rich Porter's lieutenant. So when he gets over there, he started noticing everything was going on. So he told Dame, yo, we got to get Bootsy over here, because he knows the other side of this story. Because A wrote it, and he used to be with A. So he called me up and said, yo, you want to come to Canada, work on the film? I'm like, what? How I get over there? I need to pack my bags now. He said, man, get you a flight. Try to get you get your flight and just come on over. Long story short, I got on over there to Canada. He said, don't say you coming over here to work. Say you coming to visit a friend, because they real strict over there about people that they let that comes over there about working. Yeah, I didn't know that. They held them up, made them actually fly back, him and Dame Dash at one point in time. They had to come back and then, I guess, regroup and go back over there to be, you know, on set working. So I said that I'm going to visit a friend, whatever, when I go through customs. And I get out there on set, man, and it was a whole nother world for me, because I've seen movies being shot before, but I never was just in the mix of it, in the middle of it, while it's going on. So that's how I got out there. So I wasn't going out there as an actor. I was going out there as a consultant.
Okay.
Which I can act because I did plays in school a lot.
You did plays?
Yes, I did plays in school, Christmas plays, a whole bunch of plays, man.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I did plays too. I did musicals and whatnot.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's what's up.
Look
man.
at that. We lived a similar life.
That's a fact.
Prison, plays,
Yes.
and parties.
Yes, that's a fact.
And was it Denzel Washington in Paid in Full? Was that? Who was it?
Makai Pfeiffer, Wood Harris. Makai Pfeiffer, Wood Harris. Who else is a big name in there? The female.
Who was the lead white guy? There's a white guy in it.
The lead white guy?
Maybe I'm confused with a different one.
Yeah.
There's no white guy in it? Okay.
Paid in Full is the movie about the three guys from Harlem that was making a lot of money, and one of them got shot and killed. Got shot. AZ is AZ is the one who wrote his name is Ace in the movie. So he gets shot, and once he gets shot, he wanted to leave the game alone. And then, they was begging him to stop, don't quit the game. And, it just gave you your everyday due diligence of Harlem and what we was going through in their era, in their segment of Harlem.
I gotta watch it again. I saw it years and years ago.
Yeah, no doubt.
There is a movie though from that time period that I think Denzel's in. Well, an earlier movie.
That might have Denzel played Frank Lucas.
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, Denzel played Frank Lucas. I still don't remember a lead guy in that one. And then you have a Harlem movie that me and my brother G-Head was talking about. That Wesley Snipes played in, which is Harlem. Mm. He played in that, but those is about the basic ones that's popular, like Paid in Full. Paid in Full is so popular that it was #1 in the Spanish country, and they had the words translated to Spanish. That's how popular that movie is. So how I got my scene, so I did. When we got back to Harlem, I did a scene when the cars was coming out out of the garage. They showing him getting different cars now because he's starting to get money. He left the bar, the cleaners, and started hustling, and he started graduating. So it's a scene where I walk up, meet with Wood Harris, give him a bag of money. He give me more drugs. I turn around and give it. So they kind of flash through that scene. But my most memorable scene was when I played a goon for the dude Rico, and Rico was letting Ace know that he got this guy standing right next to him. This guy was trying to set you up, and you thought that he was your man. And long story short, he turned around. They told us to turn around. We spin him around, and they shoot him in the butt with the gun. He take off running. My boy snatched the chain and give me the chain, and I'm holding the chain, and Rico say, yo, where the chain? And that guy said, okay, you shining now, B, you shining. And I'm smiling. And that part is so memorable, that one little part. And I didn't talk because I wasn't in the union. I didn't have a SAG card. Okay. If I would have talked, they probably would have took that part out. They actually utilized that part for the rapper Cameron. When they did the Source Awards, he was the Best Actor of the Year award. They used that scene with me and him. So that scene been around, and it's so well known. I be in airports, I be in the bars. People know me from there. Yo, really? I know you from somewhere. Yo, when you in, they call it Belly. Then they say, no, Paid in Full. Yeah, yo, I seen you, yo. So, I get a lot of love from that part all the way to this day.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's
Did you
incredible.
do other acting, like appearances or anything after that? Or was that just like a one and done?
What I do now is I do 90s parties, Paid in Full 90s parties. I did them a lot of places. So I charge $1,500, $2,000, depending on the person. Might charge $1,000 if you're my boy. And they don't have to pay the big actors in there all those thousands of dollars. They can use the theme and got somebody that's actually in the movie. And it's me. We have a good time. People dress up nice. Some guys give away the female the best 90s attire, $200 and stuff like that.
How often do you do this? Is it high demand?
It was a high demand. Now when it get hot, more people call. So I still been doing them. I did 2 this winter. I supposed to did 1 in Virginia, but my boy's girl got sick, so they canceled that. But I would have said I had 3 for this year, would have been 3. So it's summertime now, so I'll probably get some more. But, so after the Paid in Full movie, I did a movie called Jukes. It's about these college dudes play football, and their cousin was getting some money, and they wanted to make some money. They like, man, we need to get with your cousin. He wouldn't allow them to hustle with him. And he said, he told his homeboy, he was telling his homeboy, like, man, we need to do a little bit more, make a few more moves, man. And his homeboy convinced him to utilize his cousin and them because they was fast. If they need to run to get away from police, you could utilize them. They football players. So they utilized them and they started making money with them, but they started robbing people. They was sending them on robbing sprees. So that's what jukes mean in our culture. When we going on a juke, we going on a robbery. So they was pulling off these robberies with the young college guys because they fast and they got the look of we won't do nothing to you. So that was a movie that I done. I got who I had in there. I had my boy Shay Davis from the Smack DVD in there. I got Loon. I put Loon in the movie. The rapper Loon. His name is Amir now. He's Muslim. He was Bad Boy on the song I Need a Girl with Puff. So that's my family. So I put him in the movie. And we did fairly good. It was an independent film that my boy Nick wrote. He's from Greenville, North Carolina, and a lot of people supported him with that movie. The college supported him, let him utilize the college and everything. So after that movie, I did another movie with my brother, with Damon Dash. It was the Damon Dash and the Kanye West film. It's called Honor Up, which is, I think it should be on Tubi. If not, they can go to Dame Dash New America New. That's NU America NU New. That's his new network. So you can go and check the Honor Up there. The movie about up there. It's about the cats back in the days where your honor is all you got. And it shows when guys was locked up. Styles P from the Locks is in there. Stacey Dash is in there. Jadakiss is in there. And it shows when these guys get locked up and they was a crew, like how the 80s was, nobody did no snitching and show them being interrogated and everybody stood tall and did their time and didn't do no telling. And I had a shootout scene in that, actually. Yes.
Was that your favorite scene you've ever done?
Man, it was kind of my worst scene, but I had to do that scene probably 20 times because I get shot and I got to fall and we outside on concrete. And I had to fall several times, knees scarred up, felt like I was in a fight after the night was over, man. Hands scarred up.
What do they use to show blood?
It's a patch thing that they put on you.
Okay.
And it's somebody holding the a trigger. So so we playing dice, and we not seeing the guys coming from the left of us. Once they came from the left, they aiming the gun, so we pull out, we firing, pow, 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 pow. We going back and forth. So as I run and I turn, that's when I act as if I got shot. They say, act as if you got shot, and when we hit the button, that's when you can feel it hit you too. So that's when you even do it, you do your motions even more. Mm-hmm. So, and the blood comes gushing out. Yes, fake blood, and it looks real, and it's crazy. But I had to do it several times over and over and had to break my fall every time I did it to make it look real. And I'm like, what? Do it again? Man.
What, they keep changing your shirt?
No, before we actually was going to do the actual one.
Yeah.
That's when they said, this one is it. Let's go.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
So they were getting you warmed up.
Yeah, and I liked it and it looked good. So once again, my brother David Dash, he made sure, because we came late. We wasn't really scheduled to be in that film. We heard they were shooting upstate New York, so me and my bro Jay Black, we came up to New York, and once we got there, they was pretty much at the end of almost finishing filming the film, and he found the part for us to put us in. So that's why I always give, Damon Dash his props, because he a brother that always look out for me and my brothers, man. And, things that he done for me is still a stain on my shirt, which is a good stain on my shirt. You feel what I'm saying? Like, his presence is always going to be felt when I speak. And my brother Jay Black as well, because, he played a part in, intricate things that I done. And so when we get there, he found the scene for me. So we get in there, we do the scene. After the scene was done, it's slow motion. I like how they was doing the slow motion. Everybody was like, ooh, that's gonna look tough. Wow. So what he did was, being that I had that part, he did it in slow motion and turned around and had the cameras, how he had them edited. It made sure that I was seen real good in that, and several times in that film, and gave me a credit on the screen as, put my name up there. Because really a role like that is like being an extra. You really don't get no credit. So that's why I give my boy credit, because he put me up there. So if I do my resume, I could, utilize that as a credit. So for other movies.
Yeah. So
I did that movie. I'm trying to think. And that's pretty much it far as those films. So now I have a movie on Tubi. It's called A Polished Soul. And it's a true story. My friend, his name is Mike Anderson. He was locked up with the death penalty, and he copped out to a life sentence to duck the death penalty. He did 17 years, and he took those 17 years and learned how to write scripts and read, go to school, everything. He came home with that script and put that script to work. And he got the guy Red in there from the 5 Heartbeats. He's in there. Akamatumbe is in there. He's a big actor and a lot of stuff. But the movie is about him coming home from jail, and he has a guy playing him. And this guy is from Durham. And the guy is telling, the movie's about him telling these young boys, he catch a guy the guy tries to rob him. And he tells the young guy, this is not what you want to do, man. Let me explain something to you. He kind of gets the young guy attention to the point where the guy start putting the gun down and start to listening to him and breaking it down to him that he been in jail for this, and this not the way of life. So as he's telling the story, you'll see the movie playing out as he's telling the story to the young guy. So it's called A Polished Soul. It's on Tubi now, and actually we put it through Dame Dash's network too, on Tubi. So anybody, looking to give your kids something positive, man, y'all go up there and check that out. And then we got another one that I did some work with one of my friends, which is on Tubi. Is a good must-go see as well. It's called 17 Days, the number 17 and word DAYS, days. 17 Days is a domestic violence film. And it's about, the typical man meet a woman. He's a great guy at the beginning. Take a whiner, diner, fall in love, and then now when his first time ever going through something, once he win the girl, he win the lady, she's his now, he go through something, he test the water in one smack her, beat her up, whatever, come back, apologize, she accepted, let him back in, till it get to the point where he harmed her and hurt her and put her in jail. Till he gets, put her in the hospital and he gets put in jail and tries to, get his way back in, to pull her, to work his way back in for her to drop the charges on him. But it's a good domestic violence film because it shows these women what other women go through, and it shows these women that is going through it what you need to do to get out of a situation like that. You know what I'm saying? Stick with your family and things of that nature. And my boy, his name is Mark Shice. He played that part real good. So I don't want nobody to look at him crazy because I had a few guys call and say, man, who was that guy played that part? Man, I wanted to hurt him, man. And he's in a few joints in Power. And
who is he playing Power?
I think he played a cop role. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't a major role in that, but he actually played a cop too in that HBO special with all the police that was doing corrupt stuff in Baltimore. He plays one of the cops in that as well.
He likes playing cops.
Yeah, but he's in a few other good films though, and he's an up and coming star. And Omar Gooden is in the film that played in Baby Boy with Tyrese. That's my boy. Miguel Nunez, Joanna Man, he's in the film. So that's a must-go see, man. And anybody going through domestic violence, you know, I feel for y'all, and, you know, y'all go and see it and pass the word, you know?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So that's basically pretty much it, and we're about to start working on some films now. My boy Johnny Anderson, he got a film called Glue, and it's about keeping the family together. I got a few projects on the way, man.
That's exciting, yeah.
That's a fact.
What have you learned throughout your whole life, from the street life, then prison, to then transitioning into this new life you have now? What are like the life lessons and takeaways you want the younger audience to learn from?
That street life, I can't lie, we had fun, but it was dangerous. It's called gambling with your life. And for the young cats right now, I try to tell them, like, you can hustle forever, but it take one time to catch you, and your life is done. All the money you got, they're going to take it. It's going to cost you a lot of money for a lawyer, a lot of money for bail. Then if you do get time, you ain't even going to be there to spend the money that you got out on the street if they didn't get all of it. So it's a waste of time. So the transitioning from what I was doing to now is a beautiful thing. It was a struggle, though. It was nothing easy. I knew it wasn't going to be nothing easy, but I like to challenge myself. And, you know, once I knew that the snitch game was in, I knew the game was over. So, because it's not us against them anymore. It's us against us out there in the streets. The police don't have to work no more. And then you got guys that come and be, you know, we all might hang out every day. Out of 5 of us, one of the guys leave, and we all leave at night. Something happened, we don't know what happened. The police lock them up, let them back out. Then we back out the next day, not knowing this guy is under police, working for the police now, and we all doing whatever we do. And he going back reporting, and then 2-3 months later, you getting cuffed and you don't even know why. And then you see paperwork later because you don't see who's telling on you right then and there. Mm-hmm. That's too easy to go to jail. And that's what made me figure out, you better do something fast because this ain't it. And that's what made me transition to doing other things. And thank God that by me throwing parties and booking celebrities, I got to build relationships with them and meet other people, so it started growing and growing and growing. And then when, you know, that landing that role, not a role, but that part in the Paid in Full, and it was popular, a lot of people attracted, you know, it attracted a lot of other business for me.
You never know what could happen.
That's a fact, man.
Relationships are everything.
That's a fact.
If I never met Unique, we wouldn't be sitting here.
That's
right
a
now.
fact. I'm on the Ian Beck show right now. From all of that.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
That's a fact.
Life has a very peculiar way of falling into place and connecting you with people, and you just got to go with it. You got to roll with it.
Very peculiar, and you know, it's like I said, it's rough, but people got to give it a chance, and you can't let pride get in the way because, you know, we used to jumping in them cars when we want to, and if we tired of this one, we go buy another one with no problem. Done it. I have had every car that you can name except for a Bentley, Ferrari, or a Phantom. But anything else, I've had it all, and it don't matter. And so, who cares? I ain't even hardly used to drive them. I let my crew drive them. Yeah. I never really came outside. And, you know, at the end of the day, that car stuff doesn't mean nothing. You could lease a car and enjoy it, but you can also give it back with no headaches. You don't need a car to make money. You don't need a car to impress a woman. A woman is impressed now with a man that can think, a man that moves smart. That's what women are impressed with now. They don't even, back in the days, yeah, they wanted them a nice drug dealer getting some money. Now you tell a woman about some drugs, she's skedaddling. She do not want to be around that. You can impress women now with smarts. Yeah, dress nice, and they always do that. But don't get caught up on materialistic things. So now what young cats got to understand, you just double down your budget of how you live. Don't be living over your means. Yes, get you something nice, but stay focused until you get in a position in the legal life where you can live how you want to live. So, yeah, I had to double down, but nobody knew it because I still kept myself up to par and I stayed doing what I needed to do until I started gaining momentum with doing things in the industry. And that's what, changed my life.
Absolutely. Well, Big Bootsy, thank you so much for coming on the show today, making the drive out here. Absolute pleasure to connect with you. I
appreciate it, man, and it's worth the drive. Anything that's pushing what we doing and pushing, towards the youth, it's a blessing. Like you said, you never know what happens after this.
Yeah,
man.
you never know who's going to watch this and reach out to you, and we'll put your links to your stuff in the bio of the episode when it comes out.
Yeah,
you said you had a podcast,
yeah,
right?
Street Knowledge Podcast.
Okay.
Street Knowledge, one word, podcast. So yeah, all y'all go check it out. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all will see my live set that I have. Then I got another set where where I have all my posters of my projects. I'll talk behind that. Then sometime I'll go somewhere else off location and do a few, talk about a few things here and there, man. So yeah, thanks for having me, brother.
Of course, man.
I appreciate you.